viewers, this is Pihu from Study with Buddy. Today we are going to discuss Class 8 Science Chapter 1. The name of the chapter is Crop Production and Management. Firstly, we have to notice that here we will study this chapter with our notes. Now, firstly, from where do we get our food? We get the food from two sources. The first source is firstly food. Where do we get food from? We get food from two sources which are plants and animals. Right? Now, what we get from plants and what we get from animals. Right? Now we have to find it. We get animals. From animals we get milk, we get eggs, we get meat and etc. We get many things from animals, and from plants also we get many things such as crops, which is the main topic of this chapter. Right? Now crops we get from which we eat chapatis. You know, we eat chapatis or rotis. Now crops we get, now what we get, other thing, we get fruits. And the other thing we get is vegetables. Right? And so on. Many things we get from plants also. Right? Now, we can see here that we will study here that what we get from plants and what we get from animals. Now, in plants we will study only crop, as the name of the chapter suggests, that how the crop is produced and how it is managed. We will study about this in this chapter, and in animals we will study that what are the foods we get from animals, where are the animals are taken care. Now let's study about our crop production. I am reminding you that we are studying here with our notes, with my handwritten notes. So now let's start to study it. Now our first point is till 10,000 BCE, people were nomadic. Later, they could cultivate land and produce wheat, rice and other food crops. Right? Now here what are we seeing here is till 10,000 BCE, till what BCE? Till 10,000 BCE, people were nomadic. What was nomadic? Nomadic term means, the people who wander here and there in the forest, and the people who wander in forest and rear animals for food. Now the term nomadic means the people who rear in the and who wander in the forest and rear animals. Rear means taking care of animals as if they are their pets for their food or any financial or business uses. Animals for food, right? Now, here the term nomadic means this. Now let's come to our next topic. Our next topic is crop. What is a crop? Crop here. Crop. Right? So what is our crop? Here we are studying the main thing, crop. That how the crop is produced and how it is managed. How the steps of its management take place. Right? Now crops. When plants of same kind are grown at one place on a large scale is called crop. Right? Now, what we see here is when plants of same kind are grown on a large scale, right? On a large scale at a same place, right? At a one place or at the same place, it is known as a crop. Now let's take an example. Let's suppose that it is a field, right? It is a field, and here this is the crop of rice. Crop of rice crop, right? Which means that according to this definition means that here all the plants should be of rice, right? And also here all the plants are of rice too. Now what we are seeing here that it is a field, it is a large scale field, okay? And we have, let's suppose that one square is, let's take 1 centimeter square equals to 20 meters here, right? So if one square is 20 meters, then 2 will be 40, and so many squares will get to 100 or too many squares, right? Now here what are these all the crops? Let's suppose these are the crops. These all are the crops of rice, right here. Now let's come to our next topic, which is two broad cropping patterns, right? Two broad cropping patterns. Remember that these are the two broad cropping patterns of India, not any other country, but in India. The first is Kharif crops. Right? These are the Kharif crops which are grown in rainy season, and rainy season in India is generally from June to September, right? Rainy season in India is generally from June to September, right? Now, some example of Kharif crops, paddy. We can also write it as rice, maize, soya bean, groundnut, and cotton. Right, so these are the examples of kharif crops, which are paddy, we can also write it as rice, maize, soya bean, groundnut and cotton. Right, now let's come to the second broad cropping pattern. Our second broad cropping pattern is, there are two broad cropping patterns in the India, and the first is kharif crops and the second one is, that we are going to study it, it is Rabi crops. Rabi crops. Right? Rabi crops, these are grown in winter season. And winter season in India is generally from October to March. Right? Rainy season in India, winter season in India is generally from October to March, and some examples of Rabi crops are, gram, wheat, pea, mustard and linseed. Right? These are some examples of Rabi crops. You have to learn all my notes so that you will get full marks in your exams. This is my guarantee. Now, what is this? Rabi crops are wheat, gram, pea, mustard and linseed. Right? Now, we always know that from wheat, we eat our chapatis. And from gram, we eat our dals. From pea, we eat our vegetables. And mustard, we eat for oil in our food. We add oil in our food in the form of vegetable, or we can put it in our hairs too while making our ponytails. Now mustard we get oil, and linseed we can say it as till. It is till, which is also, we get it laddu. We all eat the laddu of till, which is nothing but linseed, right? Now let's come to our next topic. Now here our next topic is agricultural practices. Now, what are agricultural practices here means? Agricultural practices, you can think here the practice of agriculture. Yes, you are right here. These are tasks undertaken by farmers for healthy crop growth. Now, what is this? These are some tasks or some steps undertaken by farmers. Farmer is a person who is the owner of a field or who does the agriculture. The person who does the agriculture is the farmer. So, these are the tasks or steps undertaken by farmers over a long period of time. For a long period of time, let's take 6 months or 7 months, for healthy crop growth, right? And these tasks are 7 in the stages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here we are. Now, our first is preparation of soil. Preparation of soil. Second is sowing. Third is irrigation. Fourth one is third is adding manures and fertilizers. Fourth is irrigation. Fifth one is protecting from weeds. Sixth one is harvesting. And seventh one is storage, which is also called the management. Right? So now this was the part 1 of this chapter, and these topics, these 7 topics and the food which we get from animals, these are the 8 topics which we study in our next videos of this chapter. So stay tuned for next videos of this chapter. Till then, bye-bye. If there is any query, any question, any doubt, please ask in the comment box, and also do subscribe our channel. And once again, bye-bye.